Get that
They were free.
water bottle out of your mouth.
Hey, you have one too. Hey, no, I already have mine. This one's yours.
Oh, you're a dick. You're such a prick.
Smurfs 2, AMC, amazing. It tastes like plastic. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I can quit being a gas when the Smurfs 2 video's coming.
Oh, you're a prick.
People have been very, very curious because they want to watch the video to decide whether or not they should go see it.
It's because they're fucking sadists! You're all sadists! Ah! Oh, I need a... You know what? I need a Smurfing beer. How about that?
A Smurfski.
Damn it! Where to begin? That...
Well, fuck it. I'll start it off. Jesus fucking Christ. This movie was a goddamn train wreck.
Oh, you're wearing a shirt?
No, I'm not wearing a shirt underneath it. My shirt is on your knee.
You're now embarrassed to be wearing that. Oh, so
Yeah, because it wasn't before.
See this? This is a Smurfs 2 jacket that I wore for the premiere of this motherfucking thing. I will not be attending the convention coming up in fucking 2 weeks, whatever. So my contribution to any of you who may be going to this con is I will autograph this, and you will now have an opportunity to literally wear my anger. Give me my shirt.
Oh, watch my balls.
Fuck your balls.
What?
You heard me. God.
I didn't make this goddamn movie, Jake.
I
Don't
don't
hate
give
me.
a fuck. You just got done saying I need a Smurfing beer.
I was
Shut
actually thinking
the fuck up. How's that?
I was actually thinking you were going to do the rest of the video shirtless. It's like me going, I'm crabby. Well, that's the only reason I wore this shirt, for just so I can say that joke. Done.
Oh, is this alright? Fuck it.
It's that kind of party.
It's gonna be this kind of review. You know what? I'm with Brad. Fuck this.
Your next stud.
No.
Come on, dude. Dude, come on. 3 dudes naked
Come on,
in the car.
dude.
Come on, dude. You're making us look gay, bro. I didn't realize that.
Him with his shirt on was making us look gay? That was what was making us look gay.
I didn't realize how funny this was till I saw all 3 of us in the monitor. We look like extras from the Ritz. Okay. Now, I didn't see, of course... Hang on a second.
Pardon me, boys.
I didn't see the first one, but I have seen you guys
Does it
talk
fucking
about
matter?
I have seen you guys talk about the first one. So, judging from everything that you guys said in the first video, this kind of seemed like it was the same exact movie.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't feel like a movie. It doesn't look like a movie. It doesn't act like a movie. It has zero artistic merit to it in any way, shape, or form. It has zilch in the way of ambition. But the whole time I was watching it, it never once felt like I was watching a movie. Not even a bad movie. This movie's shot like a sitcom. It feels like a sitcom. It looks like one. It has absolutely no directorial merit to it whatsoever. And 5 people wrote the script. 5 people wrote this goddamn thing.
It was pretty much them, like I said, sitting around in a fucking room for like 2 hours going, how many Smurf puns can we do? Okay, that's a great one. That's a great one. Okay, no, that's not good enough. Oh, that's a
I
good
want to
one.
know the ones they
What the fuck
rejected.
ones did not make the
Come
final
on.
script?
You know somebody was like, oh no, that's not
Smurf Home
fucking funny.
Syndrome made it.
They put Smurf Home Syndrome in this motherfucking movie. That got greenlit. What the hell did not get greenlit?
You know-
Smurfy's
come on.
Law.
Smurfy's Law.
Smurfy's Law.
That's all part of Smurfy's Law. The 1980s Charles Bronson movie?
God damn it.
Rule number 1 of Smurfy's Law. You don't smurf with Jack Smurfy.
Oh my god, I swear to God,
Damn it.
Brad, I will fucking wring your goddamn neck if you say Smurf one more time. I have had so much of that interchangeable ass word in every motherfucking sentence that after a while, just saying Smurf in something or Smurf me or whatever the case is, you just don't even know what the fuck they're talking about anymore. You just don't.
I'm amazed they didn't use it more.
Honestly, so am I. I mean, they
come
use
on,
it a lot.
from the first fucking movie, there was entire sentences where all they said was Smurf.
There was entire sentences in this one where all they said Smurf. Where they said Smurf Home Syndrome and Smurfy's Law was in the same sentence.
They worked in Snailed It. It's the second movie we've seen in the span of 2 weeks that uses the word snailed it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, god damn it.
Maybe that same kid would have been in the audience to go, they stole that from Turbo. That's Turbo's word.
You are not allowed to use that word, Smurfs. That is Turbo's word. God damn it.
Well, all right, we should start from the beginning. Where Gargamel's now working as a magician in France by being the most powerful magician who has ever fucking lived.
And somehow
He sold out shows, and somehow he still
wants to destroy the Smurfs.
He still wants to destroy the Smurfs, and he still wants to use the Smurfs as a way to destroy the world, to take over the world, which throughout this movie, he already has the power to do. He can make people fly, he can turn people into ducks, he can turn people into whatever he wants. He can turn Azrael the cat into the size of a fucking building just by the power of his wand, yet somehow he still needs more power to be able to do something that he already should have the power to do. This guy is, and aside from that, what more does this guy need? He sells out shows all over the fucking world with his magic act. He's a fucking millionaire at this point. He seems to be the biggest celebrity on the face of the planet.
I love that you're actually trying to think this fucking movie through. Like anybody gives an actual flying fuck.
What more do I have to say about it?
There's
Smurf
nothing.
puns, more like Gargamel wants to use sort of Seth Rogen Smurf and Jillian Smurf. I feel bad knocking this because Jillian seemed to do a pretty good job in it. See, he's using these two, which are the naughties, that he wants to turn them into Smurfs by using his magic powers, which it seems to me that a can of blue paint should really solve his problems.
Okay, fuck it, fine, I'll play devil's advocate. So, he's trying to get the formula that... Because they actually used a little bit of Smurf history from the show, of course, and from the comic where Smurfette was obviously created by Gargamel, and then Papa Smurf changed her into a real Smurf.
Mm-hmm.
So Gargamel's big thing is he only has so much essence, it's finite, so he wants to get Smurfettes, the formula that created her, so he can create his own army of Smurfs, get their essence, and basically create an unlimited...
Paint them blue.
Yeah. Choke them. I don't know.
Yeah, strangle him.
So that's basically the plot.
He creates a portal. He creates a portal for Jillian Smurf to go through it and to grab Smurfette, who just happens to be standing right there at the pond because she's depressed, because she thinks everyone has forgotten her birthday. Which, that's their own goddamn fault. They're creating...
They were ostracizing her. They were being complete fucking assholes about it. Like, the scene is, like, they're setting up a surprise party for this little bitch, right?
Yeah.
And she wanders in before it's set up, so they try to hide everything. And she goes around and is like, hey, I was wondering if you would like to go down to the creek and stare reflectively at a waterfall with me on this most special day. You're like, about go fuck yourself. We're not gonna go do that. We got other shit to do. Go away.
It's got 100 likes on Smurf Book.
What the fuck?
That implies they have the internet.
Yeah, it does. And yet, every time, when they go out into the real world, they're just so goddamn confused about what the fuck is going on. Yet, they can make jokes like, oh, you got 100 likes on Smurf Book.
And they know what a corn dog smells like.
And they know what the fuck a corn dog smells like.
That was great, because I'm sitting next to Jake, and all of a sudden I hear him just scream out, how do you know what a fucking corn dog is? This is when, because they hear Smurfette, get kidnapped and taken away, which, this is interesting, because it's the only time in the movie that anyone hears a goddamn thing that's going on 5 feet away from them. This movie is made up of sequences which would end this movie significantly quicker. This movie is frequently made up of all these instances that would bring an end to the movie if only the characters weren't fucking deaf. Because they'll be worried about something, like Smurfette gets taken away and she'll think that, like, Papa Smurf doesn't love her anymore, or Papa Smurf is looking for her, or she's looking for him, and they're always 5 feet away from them, and they don't hear that they're 5 feet away from them, even though they're making all this racket in the world. This is a movie where people are so deaf, they don't hear that a Ferris wheel the size of the goddamn Willis Tower is rolling right towards them until they look and see that it's coming towards them and it's right across the street. So, Smurfette gets taken away, and Papa Smurf is, we must go after them. We must find them.
Poor Jonathan
Luckily, I have made these crystals, which is very convenient for us, because we can just swallow them. We don't have to worry about a portal. I made them just for this very occasion, in case this would one day happen. Quick, let's swallow them. Oh no! I tripped, they're falling in the air. And
clumsy again. It always revolves around clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
Just kill that fucker!
Motherfucker.
Kill that fucker, you never have to deal with the goddamn thing again!
So it's Papa Smurf, Narcissist Smurf, Grumpy...
Clumsy and fucking grumpy.
And Mexican Smurf.
Well, wasn't that Grumpy?
Yeah.
Was that George Lopez?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the voice of Narcissist Smurf?
I don't give a fuck.
Because a couple times I'm listening to it like, is that John Oliver? No.
Actually, John Oliver, I think it is John Oliver.
It is?
I'm pretty sure, actually, now that you say that.
Not only is he taking over the Daily Show, he's also making worse movie choices than Jon Stewart did. I guarantee you, I can do a movie worse than Big Daddy.
Mission accomplished.
Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room? The little kid's name?
This is the first time this was the...
That's Christina Ricci was Vexy? God damn it.
Oh, so it wasn't Jillian?
No.
Yeah, John Oliver's fucking Vanity Smurf.
God damn it, John Oliver! I like John Oliver.
Fucking... Oh my god.
Alright.
I look gorgeous.
Welker does the voice of Azrael. Fucking Megatron does the fucking voice for Azrael.
Well, I got Azrael's back. He was the only character in this movie I liked.
Because he's the only character in this movie who had any fucking intelligence.
Yeah.
Good god.
And I can totally get behind with having whole conversations with a cat.
Wait, Kenan Thompson was one of them?
Well, now that I have Pazuzu, I can kind of relate to that.
I've got Talkie Lloyd at home. He knows what I'm saying. I gotta start talking to him, though, like the way that they do in movies whenever the audience can't understand what he's saying. And
He's... Oh, fucking... I should have known. Anytime you put Shaquille O'Neal in a movie, it's gonna fucking suck.
Oh, come on. Blue Chips was great.
Shazam.
Kazam!
Excuse me, Kazam.
Thank you very much.
I prefer Shazam.
Steel.
God damn it.
Alright.
That...
Alright, so here's the entire movie. What?
Really? I would change
What?
my fucking name. Her last name is
Victoria Smurfit?
Smurfit.
Who's Victoria? Who the fuck is Victoria
I have
Smurfit?
no
She was
idea.
in Bulletproof Monk.
Oh, that Victoria Smurfit. What's the elephant in the room?
Alright.
You're my boy, Blue! You're my boy!
So here's the movie. Smurfette's party. Smurfette's birthday. Trying to throw her a party, shit goes bad. Smurfette feels sorry, goes off by herself. Meanwhile, in the real world, Gargamel makes this little portal that's too small for him to fit through after he brings the portal down from the Eiffel Tower, whips out this wingsuit, jumps off the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, his flying suit worked a lot better than that guy from the 20s.
The guy from the 20s who just went,
God damn it, 20s!
I'm cool with that. So he jumps off the Eiffel Tower. Apparently Gargamel is immortal, invulnerable, something.
Yeah.
Because he goes off, and this is not the only instance, but he flies off of the Eiffel Tower, and he gets caught in the wind or some stupid physical comedy bit, and he bounces off the side of the fucking tower. It's hard for me to take. Okay. So that happens, alright? The portal's not fucking big enough for him, so he can't fucking go in there, right? So he sends his two naughties, Haggis and Jillian. Haggis and Jillian go into Smurfland. I don't know what the fuck her name is! She looks a lot like Jillian, so it's fucking Jillian, alright? So Jillian and Haggis go into Smurf World, right? And they abduct Smurfette. They take Smurfette back to the real world. Because that concept was great the first time I fucking saw it. So they're back in the real world. Oh no. So Papa Smurf conveniently made some crystals after the last blue moon from the first movie so they could teleport. Papa Smurf wants the smartest, the strongest, and the fat one. I don't know why, but he wanted the fat one. Hefty. Yeah, whatever. Alright, but Clumsy comes around and is like, I want to fucks the crystals up, smacks him out of fucking Papa Smurf's hand. The crystals fucking go flying. One of them goes in Clumsy's stupid fucking mouth. The other one goes into Grumpy. I didn't get enough of that green M&M loving cocksucker the first fucking movie. And the third one goes into Vanity, narcissistic John Oliver. So those three and Papa Smurf teleport back into the real world. When they teleport back into the real world, conveniently enough, they teleport back to Neil Patrick Harris's house. When they teleport there, they're having a birthday party for Neil Patrick Harris's kid.
A no peanut birthday party.
A no peanut, no gluten, no
BPA.
that new age take everything out of motherfucking food. You might as well be eating cardboard cut fucking bullshit. Yeah, they have all that. So they get teleported into the room, and right before this happens, Neil Patrick Harris's stepdad comes in.
Fucking Brendan
Who's
Gleeson.
What the
who's the corn dog king. Neil Patrick Harris's stepdad shows up. I'm loud and fucking rambunctious. Everybody gets a corn dog.
Cooked in peanut oil.
Cooked in peanut oil. So he has like this puppy. He has all these weird little shit to entertain Neil Patrick Harris's kid. This is where we learn what these two human beings named their child. It was Blue. They named their kid
my boy, Blue.
That alone warrants both of those human beings.
To be sterilized.
No. What's the fucking point of sterilizing
It's too
them
late
now?
for that now.
They already did the damage.
Well, you don't want the next one to be turquoise.
There isn't going to be another one because I'm going to kill them. You don't deserve to procreate if you're going to name your kid something really fucking stupid. That goes for everyone. I can't stand it when parents name their kids the most idiotic, stupid-ass fucking names because that poor little kid has to grow up being named Blue.
This is
You
my
don't like
daughter,
North?
Peaches
What?
Geldof.
You don't like North?
No! Alright, so it's fucking Blue's birthday. The kid who they got to play Blue is the single worst child actor I have ever seen in my goddamn life. Just nothing to this kid.
There's nothing to the character either.
Yeah, you're right. There's
the extent of this kid's line is to be every annoying kid, not even that you've just seen in a movie, the stereotypical annoying kid that you might just run into at any kind of like public event. Like the kid is just Smurfs, yay! Grandpa Victor, yay! Dad, Mom, yay! 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 Ferris wheel, yay!
Where's my goddamn lighter?
There should be one, hang on. Maybe not.
Smurf 2, The Search for Jake's Lighter in 3D.
I found one.
Oh, and the
Let's go with
fucking,
it.
when the Ferris wheel, okay, they're all on this giant Ferris wheel in Paris. The whole movie, it's Smurfs go to Paris.
Smurfs go to Paris, and apparently everybody in fucking Paris are a bunch of fucking idiots.
Everyone in this movie is, except for the cat.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, I'm gonna start having my conversations with Lloyd, like, in the movie, where I have to essentially repeat what he says, because the audience doesn't understand what he's saying. Like, I know I should go up the stairs, Lloyd. Yes, Lloyd, we should wake Dave up.
Oh, yeah, we still got the rest of this fucking thing to talk about. So, they're in Blue's birthday, and the Smurfs show up, and some ginger kid ate a peanut and almost died. Or the corn dog, which was dipped in peanut oil, apparently had a peanut allergy.
It smells like corn dogs in here.
Yeah, that was the original thing that I was gonna bitch about. So the fucking Smurfs go inside of here, right? And Grumpy Smurf lands into this big ass wagon full of presents that the Colonel Sanders of corn dogs brought in with him. So he lands in it and he pops up with this puppet. It's like this weird corn dog monster with a tongue. And he's inside of it
It's
going,
Gene Simmons as a
help!
corn dog.
Yeah, it's help! Help! It smells like corn dog in here. How the hell do you know what the fuck a corn dog smells like? You didn't know that in the first movie. This is only the second time you've been inside of our world. How the hell do you know what a corn dog smells like? How do you know what a corn dog is? You fuckers call it a Smurf dog. That could be anything!
Oh, it got to the point where it got to the point where they weren't even replacing the word Smurf with other words.
Really?
They were just adding it just in the middle of a sentence. They would say like, Smurf exactly.
God damn it. It's hard to talk about this fucking movie when it wasn't really a movie. It's exactly what Brad said. It was a stupid-ass sitcom. Every fucking scene that you see, like, Smurfette, Jillian, and Haggis would be, like, right in this room, and they're coming off, and here's Papa Smurf and all the rest. If only they would have stopped, or looked at the reflection, or looked out of the peripheral vision, they would have seen the other Smurfs trying to save them. if they weren't as deaf and dumb as a fucking post, they would have heard everybody talking about them.
I think that was the part in the movie when I leaned over to you and said, this movie's starting to suck.
Yeah, that was 10 minutes in, Brad.
Yes, it was.
But okay, there's a scene where all of them are... Because essentially, Gargamel is seducing Smurfette to go to the dark side, and I mean that in the literalest possible terms, because he straight up just recites lines from Empire.
Yeah.
And so they're all on a Ferris wheel at one point, which Smurfette causes to go really, really fast, because she also has a wand now. It starts going really fast, it comes off the hinges, and is just rolling down the street, and everyone's reaction to this is just, wow!
Wow!
One guy straight up almost gets ran the fuck over, and they look up, and like the girl he's with is like, we need to go on that tomorrow! Yay! Like, is this dumb fucking bitch? Like, is she gonna watch a building explode and be like, let's go in that building tomorrow?
And like, not only that, like
It's
it was the Japanese. It said like,
right,
forget the Louvre, we're gonna do that tomorrow. Ha 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 ha. Anyways,
Well,
as a fucking
after Hiroshima, I mean, there's not much you could do. They're good. They've seen it all.
That was like 20 years ago. Alright, like 15. Wait, I should know this. I watched Wolverine last week. I get the dirty looks. He said it.
he got the dirty look first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I panned to you because you said it happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago? In the 80s?
Didn't they make a movie about that? Hiroshima Diaries?
Did they? You're the one who has the encyclopedic knowledge of movies, Brad.
Didn't you go see that movie?
With the mutant Japanese?
With the mutant turtles living under the... Did you see what I did there? Look, Mikey, I think you got it.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
But I still managed to be the biggest dick, even though I saw the movie too.
That's a change of pace.
I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about.
The Ferris
The
wheel.
Ferris wheel, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And the dumb
it was
Japanese.
dumb. It wasn't even just the Japanese. Just I don't know if it's just our conception as Americans. We still think the French people are pussies, I guess, or we just don't like them. Because really, when I was watching this, I just felt like we're insulting French people just because of the way that they're portrayed. There's a Ferris wheel that is off its motherfucking hinge. It is going Mach 3 down a street, and everyone's reaction, everyone is...
It's amazement.
Wow, that was neat.
I didn't even pick up on that really as a French insult, because everyone was doing that. Like, everyone was. The Japanese people were, the Americans were. Honestly...
Where? But what Americans?
The Americans were the Neil Patrick Harris. The Americans were the hero in the movie.
I thought I saw some other ones like that were also on the Ferris wheel, like tourists. Like I thought I saw a couple of tourists.
Well, when they did like the quick zoom in to the Ferris wheel, you could see like blurry faces and whatnot. Everyone on the Ferris wheel was wee. This is fucking normal.
I didn't even honestly like This movie, other than a couple of things on the Eiffel Tower, the movie really could have taken place anywhere, because I didn't even think it really made French people look stupid, because they didn't really do much in the movie other than just kind of Like, one of them's a chef, and the guy doesn't understand what he's saying, and that was really the extent of it. Like,
was every time.
I'm only thinking of, like, a few times in the movie where anyone French even popped up in this thing, because it was always either about Gargamel or Neil Patrick Harris verbally abusing his stepfather.
Yeah.
That's something we need to get to, because that was just straight up uncomfortable.
That was weird.
Yeah. He has...
I don't even know why the fuck he has... I don't even understand why that character has that particular...
Was that even mentioned in the first one?
Not
No.
even remotely.
Neil Patrick Harris has a horrible, horrible relationship with his stepfather of his own fucking
Will,
doing.
yeah.
Like, he hates this guy. Like, every time he's in the room with him, he hates this guy. He's always constantly verbally abusing him, and they're trying to draw a correlation between his relationship with his stepfather and Smurfette's relationship with Papa Smurf. I see what they're doing there.
And then his own relationship with his intelligently named son, Blue.
Well, his stepfather gets turned into a duck at one point so they can have a bunch of duck puns.
Yeah, that was...
Duck!
That was foul.
Foul. Yes, I went there. Like he wanted fucking props for that.
So, okay. He's, and it all stems from the fact that Neil Patrick Harris's own father walked out on him when he was a kid, and Brendan Gleeson is his stepfather, which, that casting just straight up baffles me. It's like, what was... Fuck, was Sean Bean busy? What the fuck?
At least he lived in the movie.
Yeah. So, he's pissed off at his stepfather because I guess 20 years ago, Neil Patrick Harris had a parrot that belonged to his real father that he's under the impression that his stepfather got rid of because he was allergic to it. And he's carrying this around with him for 20 years, just verbally assaulting this guy, even though this guy seems like a really good dude. He's always trying to help him out. He's fun. He loves his grandkid. He loves Neil Patrick Harris, but this whole thing with a parrot. And then it turns out that Neil Patrick Harris was mistaken. And Neil Patrick Harris was mistaken, and it was actually Neil Patrick Harris that was allergic to the bird, which I guess it took him 20 fucking years to figure that out, even though he spent a good part of this movie carrying a bird around with him in his hand.
And actually, I mean, he was fucking getting allergic and sneezing and shit. Don't you think you...
And the realization that he had when he learned that he was allergic to birds was his stepdad got turned into a duck. We had that.
That wasn't...
He turns back into a duck. Or, I'm sorry, he turns back into normal. And he tells that story where he was like, hey, look, you little shit. You're the one who was allergic to the fucking pigeon, not me. I took the heat because you had no daddy. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. He was like, I'm not allergic to it. And he just randomly is like, here, smell my feathers. And Neil Patrick Harris, like, smells his feathers and sneezes. Like, oh my god, you were right.
Yeah.
That is how you learn you're allergic to something?
Right.
If you just ruffle... I don't care who you are. If you ruffle some feathers underneath someone's nose, you're gonna
Exactly.
sneeze.
It's like, here, smell a feather. It's going to tickle your nose.
Yeah.
You're going to sneeze.
Mm-hmm. My god, I'm allergic to this pepper.
Exactly.
So...
Just terrible all around.
And as we were saying earlier, I saw the scene after the credits. They all live happily ever after at the end. They rescue Smurfette. Gargamel captures all of them in a cutaway. 4 of them show up to rescue Smurfette and Jillian Smurf and Haggis, who are all 3 in these tiny cages that they could easily fit through. And he's got this machine where he's got them all in individual cages, and they're all, like, he's sucking the power out of them. And then the 4 Smurfs come to rescue them, but then they turn around and Gargamel's standing there, and so is Azrael, which, again, only character in this movie with a fucking brain who actually knows what is going on, and his dumb shit master won't fucking listen to him. So then it just cuts, and like they've all been captured and they're all in their little cages. I don't really know how that happened, but it did. And they get rescued. Gargamel shoots away with his own fucking wand at the end, bouncing between bells that start playing the la 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 la. And then they're like
5 times they did that la 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 la.
Yeah, and so then they all go back to Smurf Village because at the beginning, or well, right beforehand, Papa Smurf says, "There's a problem. I've only made these 5 crystals to bring us through. We can't fit Jillian, Smurf, and Haggis through there." So the Smurf said, like, "Not so fast, Papa Smurf." Bonk! Magic wand. Now they have several more. So they all go through and end up back at Smurf Village. Smurfette has her birthday party, which I would have been pissed off if I was her, because if they weren't so fucking clumsy with this goddamn birthday party, none of this shit would have happened. They all have a birthday party, they sing their fucking song. Neil Patrick is now on good terms with his stepfather, which they shouldn't have even been on bad terms to begin with. So I turned to Jake, I'm like, "Hey, you want to leave?" Jake's like, "Yes!"
I fucking hopped the railing and bounced.
And we leave, which again, like we were saying, like how it had to have been funny watching people outside the Turbo Auditorium watch us assholes come walking out of it. This had to have been even better because it's us 3 and Jake is standing with that Smurfs jacket on, just like taking on like. So anyone watching this must be like, wow, that movie really crushed that guy's hopes that it was going to be really good. Like, I'm only picturing, like, he's wadding this up, going like, "Oh, it's $40 fucking dollars down the goddamn drain."
That'd have been great.
I did not spend $40 on that.
This is nothing like the first one. I am gonna peel the number...
This is exactly like the first one.
I am gonna peel the number 2 off of this jacket. So we all come out here, but I forgot my hat in the theater, so I went back in to go get my hat, and when I walked in, a post-credit scene started, which was Azrael yelling at Gargamel. They're like back in his lair. They're back in his lair. Azrael's yelling at Gargamel. Azrael's like, and Gargamel's like, I know, I bumbled it. I know. And then he starts, like, insulting Azrael, and then it just cuts to Azrael's claws, just like Freddy Krueger, like, whoosh, and he just jumps on Gargamel's face and smacks the ever-loving shit out of him.
Yeah, I'm alright with that.
I was glad I saw that. Honestly, I was, because at least the smartest person in this fucking movie actually got a little bit of fucking satisfaction at the end of it, you know? Like, actually got a little bit of justice at the end. Throughout this whole movie is made up of Gargamel trying to explain what is going on. And it's not even a problem of a language barrier, because Gargamel understands him. He understands every word he's fucking saying. He's just not fucking listening to him. And so, yeah, I would be frustrated if I was that cat too. Jesus fucking Christ.
I honestly can't believe that the cat didn't snap off earlier in the movie and just fuck him up.
Uh-huh. Yeah, just fuck him up. No one does anything but fucking abuse this fucking cat. The cat's the only likable one in the goddamn thing. Because Gargamel is just... Like, I know he's supposed to be stupid. I get that. He's like a stupid villain, but he's just... I don't even get the motivation. If I actually understood any semblance of a motivation behind this guy, that would be one thing, but I don't. He already has the power to take over the world. I don't fucking get this guy.
There's so many examples of how he can do that, too. They're showing the magic show. He turns somebody into a giant frog. He turns Azrael into a cat the size of a bus.
At that point, Azrael should have fucking ate him.
Yeah! And then not only that, like, when they're going to the fucking Ferris wheel, there's this huge line, and Gargamel uses his power to part the people and to
Make them
force
bow.
them to bow down in front of them.
'cause
And
he
he's
just got
walking. He's fucking walking through saying like, "Oh, thanks for holding our place."
He's
And-
just
and
got
they're
done watching
cheering
the
his ass
Avengers.
on.
And then they're like, "Oh, and those are my kids." And everyone's just like, "Oh, okay, those are his little, really tiny kids." And they're all like, "Oh, we're bowing against our will."
Yeah.
I can't fucking.
Okay, at that point, yeah, you're right. The Parisians were fucking idiots. There's your huge example right there. Every time they cheer somebody getting torn in half or shit like that,
Yeah, there's not any sense of awe or wonder in anything that's...
Or fear,
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's just.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like, Did you guys like the show?
No.
I
The
see.
Smurfs? You mean the
show, the
No, I
cartoon.
didn't. It fucking drove me nuts.
I watched it here and there when I was a kid. Like, if it was on and someone else was watching it, sure, I did. It's not a show that I kept watching on my own. It's not a show that I've carried with me into my adulthood. There's plenty of cartoons I watched when I was a kid that I can still watch now and still do. Like, I still watch Looney Tunes all the time. I can watch He-Man any damn time, you know, but other ones... But there's some other ones where it's like, yeah, I watched it when I was younger. I'm not that person anymore. I don't need to see the Smurfs again. I don't. I wasn't a giant Smurf head when I was a kid. I just, here and there, I would kind of watch it. And sure, being 5 years old, I'm sure I probably got a kick out of it when it was on. But I was fucking 5.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. And it would be, to me, it would be more... Okay, the movie wouldn't be good regardless, but you could certainly take a huge creepy factor away from it if it was like 2D animation in with all this live action stuff, because it gets into some, and I was asking Jake if the first one had this too, like it gets into some weird, like uncanny valley territory with some of these Smurfs, especially the ones that are a little more flesh colored, like, because it's like, it's to the point to where it's like they're certainly very realistic looking enough now, but you can still kind of tell that it's an effect on screen, and it just causes it to be somewhat creepy a little bit. Like
It does. It really does. Like, you know, they would have like a close up of one of the Smurfs' face, whether it be one of the blue ones or Jillian and Haggis, and they would show a close up. And like you could see like goosebumps kind of. You could see like texture and whatnot.
individual freckle, like the freckles on them.
Yeah,
and
into
shit
their
like that.
skin, and that just makes it really, really creepy. You know, it doesn't flesh them out. It doesn't make them more of a character. It just makes them like little things that nightmares could quite potentially, you know, it's creepy. It's weird. It just doesn't belong. You know, it's
like,
just
speaking of not belonging, what was that line? Get a shroom, you two.
Oh god damn.
Okay.
I would have loved a shroom.
I could go for that right now. Thank you very much.
Please.
And if ever you need, here's an example in one film how animated 3D tends to look a lot better than live action 3D, even though depending on the movie, live action 3D can really, really look good, because in this one movie, in this 1 hour and 40-minute movie, you have 3D sequences that are actually pretty good. Like a lot of the animated stuff, a lot of the computer generated action sequences looked fine. Like the 3D in that chase scene with their riding on birds, like the 3D in that was fine, but then you would mix that in with the live action stuff that was in 3D that looked terrible.
Yeah.
That looked like it was just shot, well, I mean, it was shot completely different, but it just, like, in terms of the 3D, looked like it was just directed by a completely different person.
There's something else a little bit odd about this movie, and it's very subtle. When we were at Blue's birthday party, one of his friends, there's parents there, alright? One of the ladies who was with her man was pregnant. Nobody referenced it, she was just pregnant.
Yeah, you know.
And you don't really think much about it. It's okay. Later in the movie, that 3D sequence you were talking about when they were riding storks,
Yeah.
they crashed a photo shoot. I think it was a photo shoot. All the women were dressed in white, like wedding gowns.
Mm-hmm.
There was 4 women there. Each and every one of them was pregnant.
Quadruple shotgun wedding.
It's very subtle, and I don't understand why it's in the movie.
Well,
Why? I can understand the children birthday aspect kind of thing, right? I get that. But I don't understand the stork reference, and I don't understand why they crashed a photo shoot, why all 4 of those women were pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's subtle, but it does have to do with the Smurfs. The fact that none of them are actually birthed, and they talk about the stork. So they talk about the storks, but you come in the real world where they can actually get pregnant. Like that, when he comes in, when he's talking about Blue, he's like, "Man, that must have been a really big stork. They brought him in."
I didn't hear that line.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that.
It's the naivete of the Smurfs.
The naivete of the Smurfs. This movie's deep. This movie is
not fucking deep.
This movie is only God forgives levels of deep.
Oh my god.
That may be
Terrence Malick's Smurfs.
We would still be in there.
They wouldn't be talking. You'd see a cutaway of a Smurf dying, and
Is
then
it ever gonna fucking show the Smurfs? All we've seen is just the trees.
Mother, father, Smurf. I miss your Smurfy presence.
Smurf me, son.
Smurf me, son. Come on,
Smurf me, son.
Here, Smurf me right here.
You are allowed to Smurf here.
Stop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's probably I don't know if that was an intentional thing.
I'm sure it was.
I'm sure it was. I mean, it was.
You know,
it was
I
subtle,
can't tell,
but it was too obvious not to be.
It wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't. They're like, "Oh, pregnancy's fun. Let's do this." I could see Raja Gosnell going, "Okay, let's do it," or whatever for the 5.
Guy.
He and Michael Bay need to have taken out a field and shot.
No, because Michael Bay has at least done some good movies. Like, Raja Gosnell will never do a good movie.
Would it seriously be that big of a fucking deal if somebody took out Michael Bay? No, Brad.
Pain and Gain is still one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Really? 1 out of... Oh.
I like The Rock. I like The Island. They could
have done The Rock without Michael fucking Bay.
Huh?
They could have easily done The Rock without Michael fucking Bay.
Oh, they still would have done Transformers without Michael Bay.
Yeah.
No, not Mike. We don't need to blame Michael Bay on that. You could just take Raja Gosnell and Aaron Kruger out wherever the fuck you want to go. The guy who fucking wrote the fucking Transformers movies. I loved how their excuse as to why Transformers 2 was bad was because it was written during the writer's strike.
Yep, that was the problem.
That was the problem. That was totally the problem.
That was the issue right there. Done during the writer's strike.
You got Aaron Kruger to write it. And then what do? We are so sorry we made this shitty movie, so let's hire the same fucking writer back to do the third one. Third one sucks. Alright, we're fucking rebooting it. How are we rebooting it? By, again, hiring the same fucking writer.
Nobody else will fucking touch it anymore at this point.
Terrence Malick's Transformers.
Human transforming. Yes, that'd be good.
Wow, that could get really graphic.
I could get
I'd watch it.
behind
Yeah. They transform while they actually crush humans while they put them in the cars and they crush them as they're transforming. Yeah.
that. Cool with that.
The blood down the hood of the car.
Wasn't that fucking in Clerks, the animated series, when they were all inside the Transformer and it transformed and blood just squirted out?
Yep.
Car full of midgets. Everybody work. Everybody work. Shit, we fucking run out of stuff to say about Smurfs. Is this the worst movie you guys have seen this year? Jake and I were talking about this before the movie, where I said, this movie looks fucking terrible. I'm positive it'll be fucking terrible, but this has been such a shitty year for movies that I would honestly be surprised if this turned out to be the worst movie I've seen so far this year. Because it's been that bad of a year for movies. Now, having seen it, Jake, with some of the bad stuff you've been at, and Brian, you Grown Ups 2, is this the worst movie you guys have seen so far this year?
Grown Ups 2 and this one go hand in hand.
I can say that on a technical aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then fuck you, Brian Lewis. That's My Boy is far worse than Grown Ups 2. Because That's My Boy, I would rather watch this movie on a continuous loop for 48 hours before I would ever watch That's My Boy again. Ever.
Yeah.
And me and him had this discussion. He is dead set convinced that Grown Ups 2 is worse than That's My Boy. I told him to suck a bag of dicks. No, it's not. And you saw it.
I've never seen That's My Boy.
No.
But I would never see it.
No, but you saw Grown Ups, right? And you just said that those two are about on par, right? Because in my opinion...
In terribleness, yeah, that's...
In my opinion, I can't do Grown Ups 2, but I can do That's My Boy. That's My Boy is up here. Smurfs is way the fuck down here. That's My Boy is levels and levels worse than what this movie is.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're making That's My Boy
No. Up here. Up
like
here,
Burt
bad.
Wonderstone.
Right. Burt Wonderstone's a masterpiece. Right? Yeah.
I haven't seen it. As far as movies that I've seen thus far this year,
I almost kind of want to see That's My Boy now. I'm intrigued to see.
fucking go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to because I.
You goddamn coward. Every last
Was
one
this
of you.
worse than Internship?
Yeah. I knew it was going to be.
Because I don't think this is worse than Die Hard 5.
This, I would have to say that thus far right now, Smurfs is probably, of this calendar year, yeah, thus far it's the worst. And I say that because of the actual story itself.
Yeah.
The dialogue, which there wasn't really any. There was no real jokes. We had kids in our audience. You know what the kids laughed at in the first 5 minutes with Azrael kind of like meow, 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 doing his thing? The kids were cracking up. Once Azrael stopped and they started going further into the story, we didn't hear a peep.
Anything.
A peep from nobody.
Nothing.
Nobody in this audience, including ourselves, fucking said anything forever until Azrael showed back up and you could hear the kids behind us kind of start snickering at the cat again. Because the cat, like Brad said, is the most likable character in this entire fucking movie. So yeah, the kids are gonna laugh at the CGI cat. They didn't laugh at anything else. None of the parents laughed at any of these fucking jokes.
That's because Azrael
I don't
can't
understand
say
how
Smurfs.
anybody would find... What?
That's because Azrael can't say Smurfs.
Come on, you fucking know that's the that makes him light years ahead of anything without even.
It sure does. Azrael can't say Smurf in the middle of his fucking
Honestly,
sentence.
like I thought there was only like 3 or 4 other people in that. We were sitting like
More people were filing in while we were doing while we were watching the reviews.
We were sitting like in front of the rails so we could put like our fucking feet on it and shit. And then like Jake said, you couldn't hear that much from the audience, so I kind of thought like it was like when we showed up and there was only like 3 fucking people in there. The movie ends, I turn around, honestly, there was maybe 15, 20 people there.
There was people,
Like,
yeah, it was.
I happened to notice when we were going through the previews, just because I'm paranoid and I always notice movement, I kept, like, more people were filing in during the previews. So I didn't know what the grand total was, because once Brad was like, you want to get out of here, I hopped the railing and fucking bounced. I didn't look behind me. I just left. I wanted to leave so much sooner, but I couldn't.
I've never walked out on a bad movie before, but if we walked out on this, since this hardly constitute as a fucking movie, it's a goddamn product.
Yeah.
Would that have even counted?
Yeah.
Like, I was way more mad at Die Hard 5 than this movie. I was.
Because I think you actually went into Die Hard 5 wanting to like it. Or this one you knew was going to be shit from the outset. So your expectations...
I mean, well, I mentioned earlier that I thought that this was the worst movie I've seen so far this year on a technical aspect of the summer.
Smurfs? Oh, okay.
Of the summer, it certainly is. But on a technical aspect, comparing this to Die Hard 5, in this, like, it's like I said, this hardly feels like it should be something that I'm watching on the big screen. It feels like something that should have a laugh track. It feels like you're watching a sitcom. But I could at least tell what was going on, whereas in Die Hard 5, I couldn't tell that. But Die Hard 5 did feel like a movie, a horribly fucking shitty one, but...
A movie.
Yeah, in the loosest of fucking terms. Like, even Die Hard 5 was just a goddamn fucking product. But I was way more mad at that than I was at this one. I would rather sit through this again than watch Die Hard 5 again.
I'd probably watch Die Hard 5.
No, yeah, see, I think I would, if I were to watch Die Hard 5, I would not have the reaction.
If there's shooting and explosions, at least that shit could have at least kept my attention for as long as that happened.
It would have, dude.
But you're also talking to somebody who has never seen any of the Die Hards all the way through. What?
You've disappointed me, McClane.
I don't give a fuck. I don't know who McClane is. Never seen Die Hards. You want to know what else? Never seen any of the Aliens. Name another popular movie series.
Not even Alien 3?
No.
You'd like Die Hard.
Probably, but I haven't seen it. The only, I've seen Rockies. I've seen all of those.
Oh, you better.
Hell yeah.
What about Rambo?
Yeah, I've seen all of
Nice.
Rambo.
What about the mannequins?
No.
What? What are you guys laughing at? What? What?
All right, Meshack, calm the fuck down.
You get over here. Hey, let me get some fire. Take my paycheck and get out of here. Hey, I get to meet Andrew McCarthy in a couple weeks. You goddamn right I'm taking my mannequin with me.
I don't.
Not even my copy of Mannequin. Just a mannequin I built myself.
I do. I
made her look like Kim Cattrall.
Kiss her and see if she comes to life.
Damn it, I accidentally brought my Christy Swanson mannequin. No!
I hate it when you do that.
Reference mannequin?
While I'm smoking, yes.
Is that it?
Do we
When
actually?
did we stop talking? I mean, did we...
Oh, we stopped talking about
Right,
Smurfs like
exactly.
2 hours ago.
There isn't anything to talk about in that thing. I mean, the reason I would probably watch Die Hard 5 as opposed to this one, because at least Die Hard 5 did not say Smurf home syndrome.
Right.
That fucking infuriated me.
Smurf home syndrome.
Oh yeah, she just has a classic case of Smurf home syndrome. Yeah, that's a fucking fantastic disease to throw Smurf in front of.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking fantastic.
Don't mind him, he's got Smurf Gehrig's disease.
Smurf Gehrig's disease.
He's been a little promiscuous, so he's got smades.
Man, I should have been... Man, I should have been the 6th person to help write this movie.
No.
You would have known exactly what jokes are mine.
I am the luckiest Smurf on Earth.
One of those Smurfs is just wasting away.
God.
They would get a little Smurf wheelchair.
Just
stick 'em
Streets
in
of
there.
Philadelphia. La 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 la.
Alright. So far we've talked Lou Gehrig's disease, Stockholm Syndrome, Murphy's Law, Hiroshima, AIDS. What next? What do we got? What do we fucking got next so we could add the word Smurfs to?
Smurfatitis C. I don't know.
Smurfatitis C. We could redo your Grown Ups 2 video and say this final Smurftion.
Final Smurfolution. Yeah.
Smurfolution. That sounds like a Beatles song.
Smurfler. Smurfler is going to kill all the, exterminate all the Smurfers.
Well, the duck kind of had a Hitler mustache.
Yeah, he did.
It's a mallard duck. That is the color of their bill. It is not a Hitler mustache. That is what mallard ducks look like.
Hitler.
Yes, Brad. You're right.
Hitler got reincarnated into all
As
the
a mallard
ducks.
duck, like when they showed the crate of other mallard ducks, every single last one of them.
They were being Hitler. They were totally being Hitler.
Dude, you guys are toads being Hitler right
You
now.
guys are being Hitler right now. That's because they're all commenters.
Oh, am I being Magic Hitler right now?
Well, I mean, it was a nice twist of irony that the French were killing all those Hitler ducks, so... You know.
Yeah, see?
See?
This movie's full
that's
of
subtle.
symbolism.
That's subtlety right there.
Subtlety.
God damn it.
Can I help it if every time I see a duck I think Hitler? It's all because of the cartoon with Daffy the Commando, where Daffy hit Hitler on the head with a mallet. Somehow, ever since
Did
then...
Daffy turn into Hitler afterwards?
No, but Bugs Bunny dressed like Hitler
Yes,
once.
he did. God
But I
bless you,
don't
Bugs.
think that Mel Blanc was actually speaking German. Nor do I think he
I'm
was...
pretty sure. All right. I'll give you that he wasn't speaking German,
oh, goddamn.
but I am 100% convinced that he was speaking Japanese.
All right, that was fluent Japanese.
So fucking racist.
Should we wrap it up?
Fucking sure.
Wasn't it wrapped up a long time ago?
Next week, we're gonna be gone.
Yeah, you all got the con.
Yeah, the movies, but a couple of the movies that are coming out next week, we'll see. We'll just, it'll just be during that week. If there's a midweek release, I'll hit that. But in terms of what's coming out on Thursday and Friday, we're gonna be gone. We're gonna be at Wizard World, Chicago, 8th through the 11th, with Jake's newly autographed Smurfs 2 jacket.
Yeah, get it while it lasts.
Right.
Because I know somebody's going to be like, hey, I'm buying this. I get to wrap myself in Jake's anger.
It's like a warm blanket of Jake anger.
Yeah.
It'll keep you warm. And you can't touch it with your bare hands because my anger will pop off on you. And some people just can't control my levels of rage. And I would hate to be responsible for somebody snapping off and killing somebody.
That's a secret, folks. He's always angry.
I am.
Except he turns in blue.
Yeah, see? You just turning blue.
I love you.
We'll see.
I've seen
Chernobyl, that's what I was thinking of.
I thought you were making a joke. I thought you realized that was Chernobyl.
I did. I just wanted to end the video like that.
Fucking asshole.